It's the 3 on PLAXtv.
Yeah, I'm back, baby. What's good, y'all? It's your boy PLAX, and I am back with another episode of the 3 on PLAXtv. And I am happy to be back. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks, maybe even a month. No, it's only been a few weeks. And for those of you who care, who may be a fan of me or a supporter or anything like that, I got a new job and I was just figuring out my new schedule and stuff like that. But I'm back. I'm ready to get going. Check out the RMP podcast because we've been dropping ever since. I didn't slow that down at all. And streams coming soon. So if you like my video game content, I missed PLAXtober, which upset me, but it's okay. We locked in. We back going. But in this episode, I'm a little late. Because the Dame trade happened a while ago, and I briefly talked about it, but I didn't get into the details. This is about Portland's Ransom, how they came the fuck up after trading Dame. Like, I thought, obviously, they're probably not going to be like, they're not going to be a championship level team. They're probably not even going to be a playoff team, but the assets they were able to get just from moving Dame were amazing. Like, they did well. And I was one of the guys that was saying they should have just went with the Miami trade, but what they were able to gain from trading them to the Bucks and then moving other assets on top of that, and they still have more assets they could move from that trade, they came up. But I would like to break down that trade and just get into the details a little bit. Let's get into it. So Portland traded, not to the same team, but just to different teams. They got rid of Damian Lillard, Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, and I believe Keon Johnson. And they got back from the initial trade Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Kamara, Milwaukee's 2029 unprotected first round pick, an unprotected swap with Milwaukee for in 2028 and 2023. So they got 3 picks on top of Drew Holiday, DeAndre, and Kamara. Then they parlayed the Drew Holiday pickup by trading Drew Holiday. They traded him to Boston, and they got back Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, a 2024 Golden State Warriors first round pick, and a Boston's 2029 unprotected pick. So they got 2 really great players, role players, one of them in Brogdon that they may or may not trade. I'm not too sure what the plan is with Brogdon, but I mean, either way, you know, he'll be good to like help develop Scoot as his backup, like backing Scoot up. And if you trade him, you're just getting more assets because you're probably going to trade him to a contender, and you're going to get a lot of assets for Brogdon because he's just a great guy off the bench, and he could be a starter for you. Rob Will, getting Rob Will, it was a good move. It just threw me off a little bit because they have Ayton. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Are they going to move one of them? But even in that situation, you could run 2 bigs, which might not be the greatest idea, but you can. You can have Rob Will back up Ayton, or you can have Ayton back up Rob Will, which is great, which still puts you in a great spot. Or you could trade Rob Will at the trade deadline with Brogdon and get a whole bunch more assets, whether it be picks or another great player to pair up with Scoot and Ayton. However you want to do it, it's kind of like a win-win situation regardless on what you want to decide to do. And then the picks. You can never go wrong with picks. Shout out to OKC. They taught us that one. And rumor has it, which I'm pretty sure they're going to do, they plan to trade Jeremy Grant at the trade deadline. Or when, not at the trade deadline, but January 15th is when his no trade clause, or I forgot how it goes. Like once you sign an extension or something like that, you can't be traded for like 90 days or something like that. So January 15th is his 90th day, and they can make a move then. They're probably going to wait to the trade deadline. But again, Jeremy Grant, a great piece that you're probably going to send to a contender that you get a lot of assets back for, whether it be picks, young players, a player that can help you down the road, anything like that. You're just in a very comfortable position. And they did all this just from a Dame trade, just from trading Dame, something that should have happened years ago. I talked about that in multiple previous videos, but just from trading Dame, they put themselves in a beautiful position because they're not on paper. They're not a terrible team, right? But they're not great either. You know what I'm saying? It's an odd spot to be in, but they have the assets. They can change that. They could go into full tank mode, which I think would probably be a better idea for them for right now. But depends on what the GM and the owner decides. They could either go full tank mode and move pieces around and just build around Scoot and Ayton, or they could try to make a playoff spot and move some of the pieces that they have to make a better team. Now that would be a little fucked up because Dame has been begging for that for years and they never did it. But at the same time, it's like a relationship. You might not be the greatest in one relationship, but you learn from it, right? You learn from it. And in your next relationship, you would hope that you're a better partner, you're a better person, you're a better lover, and all of those things. So maybe Portland will treat Scoot a little bit better and actually build around him properly. But regardless of what they're trying to do, they came up and I was wrong. I was wrong once again. I don't know how many times I've been wrong on the 3 on PLAXtv. It's probably a lot. But I was wrong. The Miami trade wasn't the best trade for them because I think Miami was going to give them there's a few different offers they sent out, like Tyler Hero and some Kyle Lowry packages and some like a bunch of young players. They would have got a lot of picks, but historically speaking, Miami's going to be a playoff team, maybe even a late playoff team, maybe even a finals team. So how valuable are those picks realistically when Miami most likely is going to be good going forward? They might not be, the best team in the league or anything like that, but they're borderline going to be a playoff team. They're borderline going to be decent. So the total breakdown for this, right? At the end of the trade for Dame and moving all the assets, as of right now, obviously they still probably going to make some more moves at the trade deadline. But as of right now, for Dame, basically, they got DeAndre Ayton, who, I've said some things about, but he's decent. He's decent enough, right? Robert Williams, who's one of the best defenders and rim runners in the league. Malcolm Brogdon, again, one of the best 6 men that you could have on your team, especially, teaching Scoot and things like that. And he could be a starter. God forbid, Scoot gets hurt or something like that. He can start for you, and you wouldn't really have too much of a drop-off, if at all. And Kamara. I don't know who Kamara is, so I'm not even going to sit here in front like I know who he is. He's probably just a fill-in. But and they also got him. And they received 5 picks. 2024 Golden State Warriors first. A 2028 unprotected pick swap from Milwaukee, a 2029 unprotected first round pick from Milwaukee, a 2029 Boston unprotected first round pick, and a 2023 unprotected pick swap from Milwaukee. So they got 3 decent to good players and 5 first round picks, all unprotected. They came up. And they still have a chance to move Jeremy Grant. They still have a chance to move Malcolm Brogdon. They still have a chance to move Rob Will if they want to. Shit, they still have a chance to move Ayton if they want to. They have so much capital and so much potential as far as what they can do and the moves they can make. They're in a wonderful position right now. And I know everybody's talking about Milwaukee they're one of the favorites to win the championship. Obviously, they got Dame, who's one of the greatest shooters ever, and Giannis, who can't be stopped at the rim. They're one of the favorites, but Portland also put themselves in a really good position, maybe not for right now as we speak, but later on down the future, because we're assuming, we hope Scoot becomes an all-star level player at least, right? Ayton, a solid guy who could potentially be an all-star one day. And then you just sprinkle in those pieces, as in the pieces being the assets that you have around those guys properly, let them grow together. And who knows what happens in the future. The only problem I see with this is Portland has just historically been a abysmal organization, a terrible organization. So they're, like, historically speaking, they're probably going to fuck it up, or they're probably not going to gain anything from this, even if they do things relatively properly. But like I said about the relationships thing, hopefully this time is different for all my Portland fans out there. I'm not a Portland fan. I honestly could care less about what they do. I just liked what they got back, and that's why I named this video Portland's Ransom. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. Like, how do you think Scoot and Ayton are going to be as a duo? Do you think they're going to move Jeremy Grant? Do you think they're going to decide to keep him? If they do move him, where do they move him? Where does he fit? What can they get back for him? Even with Rob Will and Malcolm Brogdon, if they move them, where do they move them? Where do they fit? What can they get back for those guys? Let me know what you think about Portland's future, whether you be a fan of Portland or not. And just comment down below some stuff you'd like for me to talk about. I'm back rolling. RMP never stopped. RMP podcast is rolling. So go over there, click the first link in the description down below to check out the RMP podcast. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We do talk about sports. We talk about pop culture. We talk about comic books. We talk about women. we talk about everything. So head on over there and check us out. And most of all, YouTube. I love you guys. Peace out.
It's the 3 on PLAXtv.
Yeah, I'm back, baby.